Last clip that was, huh? If you're watching the pre-show, Big Balls just announced on Fox News that his grandfather was a double agent for the KGB. All right, wasn't expecting that as the last clip of the roll through for tonight. One thing I do want to say before we get started is that tonight, I think I did my show a little too late. We are here at 12:30. It is officially October. Woo woo. And it is officially a government shutdown. Ah! Like, do I have a thing? Can I do the thing? Do I have a clapping? Perfect. There you go. I think that worked, guys. I think you guys got the clapping. Did you? Did you get it? Was that it? Wait, hold on. Maybe now? There you go. Hey, we did it. We got a government shut down. We shut down the government, everybody. We did it. We made it happen. Tonight, I'm pretty much going to talk to myself because pointing out that it's a late night episode, that it's 12:30, that it's October now here in Central Time Zone, that we have had no government for an hour and a half. Everyone's already went to bed. No live people active. One user on Rumble, one user on YouTube for tonight. I tried switching up the title of the episode over and over. I'm like, do I talk about Charlie Kirk on the top? Do I not? Do I mention the Cubs? Do I not? I think from now on, I just gotta feel, I don't know, like, I feel like if I go with the main story every single time, you're just going to end up with like this redundant Trumpism of things. And I don't always want to talk about that. What I wanted to talk about tonight, guys, is the fact that the Chicago Cubs won their first playoff game since 2017. Woo! There's a clap. Throw the clap on there again. Nah, I'm good though. I am a one-man band. I am Alex R. Wagner. This is No News is News, episode 104. And the Cubs won. I think the Cubs won for Charlie Kirk. This is kind of my whole perspective on the Cubs won for Charlie Kirk. All right. Everything is completely politically divided right now. Can we just have sports? Can we just, like, what I think is that the far left and the far right, which is pretty much just the people that are doing the podcast at this point, those people, we don't need to pay attention to them anymore. We can just care about sports like Americans. You know how sports used to be in the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s? It used to be the place where dad found out that, like he was able to, like, seclude himself. He was able to go away to the garage, leave the family, have his own little time. Well, now we need our own little time away from politics, away from the nonsense, especially since we got people like Ilhan Omar over here, like, making us realize it's not really wrestling, that she, like, thinks we're in, like, a Muslim fucking country and we're gonna, like, behead each other or something now. You see her comments on Charlie Kirk? There is no legacy. Yeah, fucking scream to Allah, lady. What a crazy person. What a crazy human being that fucking hijab weird ass lady is, screaming about how Charlie Kirk is a racist. I don't know. It's insane. But I just want to gloat for a minute. Chicago Cubs winning a game. That's a huge thing. Do I think they will win one of the next two wildcard games, one of which is tomorrow? Found it interesting that the MLB switched it all up. They also made the game way quicker somehow. The game only took like 2.5 hours. Same as a football game, honestly. I enjoyed it fully as a fan. 2 single home runs back-to-back in the 6th inning is what won it for the Cubs. Pitchers are now, like, crazy enhanced. Like, you want to talk about, like, the whole Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire era. Like, pitchers in baseball right now, they're throwing an average of 95 miles an hour. And like, it's insanity. And you can see it every time that you watch the game. Maybe that's why it's going quicker. So the game's going quicker. It's not an average of 3.5 to 4.5 hours. It's like 2.5 hour game now, finally. I would be upset if I was at the ballpark for a 2.5 hour game. I like the ballpark being a 5 hour game. But when I'm at home watching a playoff game, yeah, 2.5 hours sounds fucking great. 2.5 hours, game was done. They switched up the way they do playoffs now too. No play-in game, so there's no like one and done eliminations. But the wild card round, all 4 wild card rounds are only a series of 3. And the higher seed does all 3 games, and all 3 games are at home. So we get 3 games back to back to back at Wrigley against the Padres. And the only way for the Padres to get out of it is to dig themselves out of an away team disadvantage in a triple header. It makes baseball a little bit more exciting. And then right from there, they go right into the divisional round, which is a 5 series. Again, not a 7, a 5 series. And then AL and NL 7 series along with the World Series. It really makes sense, and it made it enjoyable to watch. I'm excited to watch tomorrow. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk, but also Chicago needs this. We need this because like Chicago's tied to politically right-wing freedom lovers and all that shit. It's ingrained in us, okay? Independence is ingrained in us. We are Nick Fuentes, Kanye West. Need I say more? Jussie Smollett, if you want the other side of it. That's also Chicago. And me, this guy right here, Chicago. I'm from the Rockford area, DeKalb area, I would say is what you would. Yeah, I would say DeKalb area is probably better. And so like Northern Illinois University, and I'm literally from Genoa, Illinois. So, yeah, northern suburbs of Chicago represent once again Chicago Cubs. Go, go, go. Let's go. Let's go. Go, go, Cubs. Let's go. That's all I got to say there. But it was nice. It was nice. There wasn't a lot of woke ads. Maybe the reason there wasn't a lot of woke ads is because Paramount and this guy from Oracle is like buying all of media. I'm getting concerned now when I see that like the UFC has a deal with Paramount, which is exciting because like now we can finally bring America's sport to the prime time of America. I'm always for encouraging that. Like, I think that these companies are stupid the way that they treat sports. Sports are so pay-per-viewed and cabled out, and everybody just does them illegally. And then you ban East Side and you do all this weird shit. And it's like, we don't want to be on there either. Remember like when we all torrented movies and then you found out like, oh, wow, we should just like sell them digitally online. And then we started buying them that way. Why don't you try to do that with like fucking sports finally? Instead of making us do this. It's so weird. I don't understand it. I don't know enough or have enough knowledge about sports contracting to really understand it. But it all leads back to old man probably doesn't understand what he's spending his money on. Because the amount of just sports games that have like DraftKings and FanDuel and tons of people betting large sums of money on the event and then it not being broadcast for anybody to see except for the people that are like there at the table. It's crazy. Everything should be on a fucking app. Everything should be fucking able to be accessed very easily. Honestly, everything sports-wise should just have its own YouTube channel and just run ads that way. You get a 65% cut from YouTube. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. It doesn't make sense. But with that said, sports down the drain. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at our fucking breakdown of the night. What are the main stories? What do we got going? What do we got cooking up in this mofo called the world? The world, according to me. I kept like trying to ask for different recommendations for the titles and shit, so I kept getting all this weird stuff. There we go. Number 1. Shutdown at midnight. Well, that already happened. We're in a shutdown. Is it official? I want to make sure they didn't like snake oil us with some craziness. Just if I do shutdown, did anybody stay up? Shut down. Did anybody stay up at any of these journalists? Like, is there a journalist left? The Guardian, 18 minutes ago. U.S. government shutdown live. First closure since 2018 begins after funding bill files. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you got to be a fucking buffoon to not. Chuck Schumer doesn't even have an answer when you ask him why. He's like, it's a very clear answer from the Republicans. It's very one-sided on this thing. But I also see from Chuck Schumer's side why he has to do it. You have to do it because you're going to get canceled if you don't do it. So, like, he's like, over here being like, yeah, everything's a play. I'm glad that they did the sombrero thing. I'm glad that he fucking said he didn't know who Hakeem Jeffries was. I'm glad that they're, like, pushing back on these, saying they're going to fire people, stuff like that, because it is a game, but it's a game that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer know they have to play because when they didn't play last time, they got canceled. And if they get canceled twice as a politician, you have to live under a bridge for a year as the troll. So you can't have that happen. The government being shut down is more of a severe issue for Republicans than I originally thought because there's a lot of ICE agents. There's a lot of ICE money. I'm not saying ICE is shutting down. We're living in reality here. Government shutdown means like basically nothing shuts down. Everything just operates. Vile-pilled WL says Chuck is having a breakdown. Oh, yeah, he's definitely having a breakdown. But also, like, the reason he's having that breakdown is because he's stuck in a conundrum where he knows he has to single-handedly shut down the government, but also has to publicly have an excuse for why he's not shutting the government down. So that's the biggest issue for Mr. Chuck Schumer over here, is that he, on one hand, is like, yeah, he's the only human being that, like, single-handedly, Chuck Schumer is shutting the government down. And then when it all, like, the math all leads back to Chuck Schumer on the funnel, they're like, Chuck Schumer, you got a reason? And he's like, health care. Like, what? What? Okay. All right, man. Sure. That's the reason that this is happening, is because of health care. Look, we all know that this is a CR, a continuing resolution for 7 weeks. We all know that you did sign 13 of them. That's their catch bait. I'm not going to repeat the Republican catch bait on it. But the facts are the facts, that the reason those continuing resolutions were agreed to with Republicans is because when you are on the opposing side, the side that has less people on it, that's like the less than 50% side of Congress, anyone on that less than 50% side hearing the words continuing resolution, it means pass till next time, which is better for you. So it's a weird thing to do this. Vile-pilled says, yeah, it's a bad deal for him. He looked pretty pale today. LOL. He did look very pale today. Not as pale as Hakeem Jeffries, which is very strange. How is Hakeem Jeffries black but also paler than Chuck Schumer? I do not know, but that is a fact. Hakeem Jeffries gets paler every day. Anybody else notice that? That man is the palest white man alive, or palest black man alive at this point. He is close to Michael Jackson levels. But Hakeem Jeffries and why did they put it? Why did they put the? Oh, because it's illegals, because of illegal healthcare or whatever. I mean, Trump's got his little catchphrase clickbait back at this, where he's like, "Oh, like we wanted to do it, but like illegal healthcare." Look, you don't negotiate the things that you want for the end of the year on the CR. You move the CR along for the 7 weeks that it was agreed to, and yes, but they also know that they'll get canceled if they accept a deal, especially a CR, which essentially just says, give me my paycheck and all of my people their paycheck, and we'll move it along, with these radical woke lefties, with these AOC types. They're going to push back on you again. They're going to go, Chuck Schumer selling out again. So Chuck Schumer's like, healthcare. What this really is like they're going to do the 7-week negotiation they were going to do anyway, because they had to do that negotiation before the end of the year for the actual bill. And so now they're going to do that with the government closed down. And at first I thought that only fucked the Democrats. I was like, okay, yeah, they're going to fire extra people. Anything that's non-essential, they'll just shut down and it'll be warranted because the government is shut down. Like, it's only going to really, like, everybody knows Chuck Schumer's a weirdo. That's that, right? But the thing is that I heard and I found out is that all federal employees that are on servitude, which is like, these are positions that are lower rank positions, low end government positions, but are needed for the government to operate, they will continue to work without pay. And guess who is on that list of employees that will not be paid during this government shutdown? The ICE officers. All of ICE is not being paid during this start to the Civil War. Is that fair to say? The start to the Civil War? Because I don't know how you come back from this now that we're here. The government has officially shut down people, and I don't know how we get back, because Republicans are going to find out. I'm assuming they just don't know. I don't understand. Or maybe they do and they're just like kind of upset about it, but that doesn't really matter. That every day that the Democrats keep the government shut down, the people of ICE have to go to work and not be paid. They will get back pay when the shutdown is finished, but they're in fortitude, which means that they indefinitely, meaning for 90, 100, 120 days, like some countries have had 120, 130-day stable democratic government shutdowns, which is when the physical bills of how you pay shit isn't being agreed upon by the politicians. So we could see 2 to 3 potential months of ICE having all of this money, all of this new funding from the big, beautiful bill. But at the same time, every day that the Democrats don't agree to a continuing resolution or to just keep the government open in any capacity with a new bill, they're stopping ICE from accepting current paychecks. They will get one when it's finished. Their fortitude, which means no matter what the deal is in the future, even if they wrote in the bylaws like, and you can't pay ICE anymore as like a deal that they made, which they'll never get to that point. But even if they got to that point, they still have fortitude during the period of negotiation. However, every ICE officer, all 30,000 of them, everybody busting their ass for, immigration and labor enforcement, the FBI, fucking CIA, all of these organizations, they're in fortitude. They're not going to get their weekly or bi-weekly checks. Now, a lot of these people are blue-collar human beings. Viopil says, I think we saw government running for the last time, to be honest, at least the way we see it now. Government running for the last time, to be honest. I hold out more hope for the fact that these people are essentially aristocrats and they want to pay themselves. So I think that it will only be a matter of days, if not weeks, before all of these Chuck Schumer types on both the left and the right decide, sounds good. Let's just sign a deal. You really think that Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer don't want to go home, cozy up, say, hey, I got us another new vacation, another $200,000, Nancy Pelosi, yeah. At least, yeah, exactly. It's crazy. But that is the government shutdown. The government is being shut down, or it is shutting down. I think that the ICE situation is the biggest problem with it. I think that it's going to be a long shutdown. I have a feeling no matter what, it is going to be a pretty long shutdown. Because with them getting the goodie bag of ICE and other federal facilities that are doing all of these operations for Trump not actually receiving checks, there's a win there on the lower level, on the protest surface level. Democrat being like, I can't, yes, keep doing. The thing is that like, even though they aren't going to be paid, okay, the thing with it is that, and they'll get the pay after. A lot of these employees are only being paid like once a month or bi-weekly. These are corporate style jobs. And they can also go to third parties. And then a lot of times employers offer third parties for loans to be able to receive their payment or be able to pay their bills if they need them. Also, during government shutdowns, every time the GoFundMes go up the wazoo with a bunch of government employees that all of a sudden are acting like, well, I can't pay for my car. And maybe, granted so, for some of them, but for most of them, they can figure it out. They can figure it out. I can figure it out. We can all figure it out. Second story of the day. Trump wins key ruling in Google YouTube lawsuit. A federal judge ruled today that Donald Trump's lawsuit against Google alleging censorship and deplatforming can proceed. The landmark decision is being seen as a massive victory for big tech, against big tech. Yeah, they ended up paying out on that lawsuit instead of moving forward with it. And he said that he will be taking that money that they gave him, which is like $20-something million, and making a ballroom for the White House out of it. So that's cool. Glad that me and everybody else that got canceled during January 6th is able to see the ball. You know what? It's fine as long as we all get invited to this fucking White House ball when it opens up. Okay? I don't think we will, but maybe we should. Okay. Story 3. Israel strikes Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. In a major escalation, Israel air forces have conducted airstrikes in Lebanon, breaking the... Okay, we already saw that. DOJ under fire for Comey investigation. Russia launches another massive missile. Stock markets tumble. Had to shut up. They just bounced back 88 points. It's ridiculous. Trump is holding primetime rally. Trump is scheduled to hold a major rally in the evening where he addresses a legal victory over Google and places blame on political opponents for government. Just making shit up. This is the AI. This is what happens. And then you'll call it out and you'll be like, that's not true. That's not a real thing. And then it'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was totally making that up. Sorry, guys. Made that up. Well, tonight I didn't get a lot of viewers. I didn't get a lot of conversation. More conversation than I normally get, though. Still no conversation from you, Rumble. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that fucking button or whatever. Have a good night and stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of like, what the fuck is this? Like, tomorrow, we're going to wake up tomorrow, there and be like 1,000 fucking journalists who are like, oh, the government shut down. This is what the government shutdown means. Go through a list of rules like it's goddamn overtime for fucking NFL. You're like, wait, what were the rules again? They changed them since last year. Okay, what are the rules? All right, you have to go to work. You don't get paid. Wait a minute, I don't get paid. You get paid afterwards. And you have to tie your left foot to your fucking arm and bounce up 3 times left and right before you leave the house. You must also put a organic onion outside of your bedroom window. If you don't do these things, you fail the test of being an American. An American. So if you want to be an American, fucking look at me. Look at me. I don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. Why are you watching this? You shouldn't be. I shouldn't be doing it. We should both move on with our lives. I'm going to contemplate that. I hope you as the viewer contemplate watching me. And we'll discuss this more tomorrow as to what we do with our life. Because we should probably stop. We should probably stop doing this show. We should probably move on. I got an email today that was like, Alex, we looked through your partnership on YouTube, and of all the partners in all the world and all the numbers and stuff, you're in the top 10% of partners that have up, like, for amount of content uploaded consistently. And I'm like, wow, okay, wait. And then that's like when I got confused. I'm like, I got one of two things. Either one, that's encouraging because that means that like they're paying attention to data like that, and it's because of me doing the live streams every night. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk, never fucking taking it down. Day show. This is a day show. I will be doing this till the day I die. This is a day show, and I will day show this till the day I die. But the whole thing with it is like that. I don't know, man. I'm starting to get really tired. It's 1 a.m. now. It's fucking Tuesday. Technically Wednesday. It's technically spooky season. Ooh, spooky season. It's been spooky season for an hour now. If it's spooky season for 3 hours at the beginning of the 3 hours of spooky season, like what happens? What happens if I wait until 1111111? Do I disappear? What was I saying about the show? About doing this? Oh, about the YouTube thing. Or it's that it's the amount of uploads I've made in total since I've become a partner, which was like 15 years ago. And if that's the case, if I'm uploading like in the top 10% of all partners for the last 15 years, that's really disappointing. Because that just means then that like all my trying, all my consistency is recorded, but not rewarded. They're like, we know you've been doing this for a really long time. And we just wanted to send you an email and let you know, good job. Keep doing it really long time. Cavalry's not